Flying through the religious liberty skies. Southwest will appeal the judge's ruling requiring religious liberty training. This is written by Daniel Weisner on August 8th, 2023 for Reuters. And in this article, we go over how a judge is ordering Southwest Airlines employees, 3 attorneys, to be more specific, to attend religious liberty training. Now, this religious liberty training, ironically, is being carried out by a Christian group about Christian, quote unquote, ethics. At first glance, I see a judge using authority to prop up Christian values, which is a blatant constitutional violation. But before I get into that, I'd like to hear what what Aaron and Helen and Rob have to say. Aaron?
Yeah, I did a little I read the Wikipedia article on this group that they're supposedly have to go and get this religious liberty training, and this is not a good group. I would not want to get any kind of training from these folks. The Southern Poverty Law Center designates them as an anti-LGBT hate group. They have become one of the most influential groups informing the previous administration's attack on LGBTQ rights. They have many anti-LGBT legal positions. They oppose same-sex marriage. They want to decriminalize same-sexual activity. Well, they want to criminalize it. I was
going to say, I'm like, do they want to decriminalize it? Yes, it's already decriminalized.
It opposes decriminalizing it. It opposes anti-discrimination laws, and they take an active role in writing anti-transgender bills for state legislatures. I can't believe this judge is being so blatantly, I don't know, anti-liberty by forcing this training on these lawyers. Granted, the lawyers aren't following the judge's instructions. They're kind of, throwing a little fit. They don't agree with the ruling that they got, and so they're kind of dragging their feet. I get it, but that doesn't mean you have to go send them to a group that essentially brainwashes people. And this whole religious liberty argument, when it comes up it seems to be that it's about people's religious liberty to treat other people like crap, and to be bigoted, and to not be kind, and to not accept people for who they are. And it just makes me want to.
Aaron, you're just too woke.
I'm
sorry, you're just too woke.
Yeah. Rob, take it away, or else I'm gonna. Yeah.
Well, so I actually opened up and I read the, God help me, legal memorandum, opinion, and order granting sanctions that the judge from Texas wrote. By the way, I was surprised it wasn't from Florida, but it was Texas. So I guess there's
close enough.
Contest.
We're not the only shitty place, Rob. Okay.
So part of what the judge wrote was, and this is a quote: "Take these modified historical and movie anecdotes. After God told Adam, you must not eat from the tree in the middle of the garden. Imagine Adam telling God, I did not eat from the tree in the middle of the garden while there's an apple core at his feet." And then he gives a second example. Or where Gandalf bellows, "You shall not pass. I do not pass," while strolling past Gandalf. And then the judge says, either of those things is a historical anecdote. So does he think the Bible is a historical anecdote, or the Lord of the Rings tale is a historical? He's thinking one of those is a historical anecdote. So, I can't take anything this guy says seriously. I mean, that is like ridiculous to put this in an official court order from, a position of authority in the United States. That's it.
So, when I was reading over this article, I am all for people getting ethics training, how to get along with their fellow employees. Because we've all had jobs, and we've all had to do a certain amount of personal training, how to get along with coworkers, all that type of stuff. I have no problem with that. But the fact that this was a religious moral ethic course, which really, really bothers me, because is that listen, y'all know that I'm an atheist activist. Everybody knows that. But if I was pagan or Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or anything else or atheist or whatever you are, that doesn't want to conform to this type of training, it and you don't have an option to opt out of it. It was required under what Southwest wanted to do with this religious group, which is disgusting, because if you have the option, when, like, if you're like follow different religious faith, to be like, you know, I don't want to do this, and keep it was required about with the upper executives, but that could have trickled down, because we know how these things work. So that caused me a little bit of pause. And I understand, and we have talked over and over again on the show of people who are either atheists or people that don't follow a certain religious ideology, wanting to opt out of certain trainings, certain trainings or practices, like going to morning prayer when they don't hold the same belief, and then finding that their jobs might be in jeopardy. And this is just a reminder that these things keep happening. And it just really bothers me, because when you're under an equal opportunity of employer, maybe you should extend that also to people that might have different religions than you, or have no religion. That, you know, just saying. Anyway, Jimmy, please go. Please talk to me.
Yeah. I find it ironic that the judge in this case, in his ruling, cites previous case law in which defendants were required to attend ethics training and continuing education courses. But then, by using that as the precedent, forces these Southwest Airlines employees to attend Christian courses. These are not the same. Christianity and ethics are not the same. And if the judge actually knew anything about this religion, about the good book, he might not be so ignorant to the ethical dilemmas of Christianity. And in conclusion, I mean, I think that imposing religion in this case, using the court system to do it, is quite alarming. And so it should be taken seriously. It's a dangerous precedent, even for Christians, but for everyone who could face what I'll call, reverse religious discrimination, right? So attempted indoctrination as a penalty for an act that conflicts with somebody else's religious values. This could backfire, making something like this the precedent. And I find it shocking, disgusting, and it is unconstitutional in my opinion. So I hope to see the appeal go through and for this to be overturned. Aaron, what do you think about all that?
Yeah, there's a reason we keep religion out of government and out of law. When you come together as a society, you have to kind of agree on a common framework on how we're all going to live together. And if you choose religion, well, depending on what your religious beliefs are, that could be pretty oppressive to other groups of people. And we've seen historically that religious groups tend to be oppressive. They tend to inflict serious harm on groups of people that they don't like. So that's why we as skeptics and as atheists, we don't want religion in our government. We want it out. And so we have to come to an agreement on what are we going to base our community, our country on. And we've decided that we're going to base it on laws, that everybody is going to be subject to the same laws. They're going to be governed the same way, rich or poor. It doesn't matter. We're all subject to laws, and these laws help us get along and help create liberty, help create equality, give people equal chances and equal opportunities. And by this slow creep of religion into our law and into our government, it slowly is eroding away that our actual liberties and our actual freedoms. And so this is, like, I share this concern that you expressed, Jimmy, that this judge is doing something that is unacceptable, to send people to get this at liberty, this religious liberty training. It might be a good thing. I don't think it is, but you certainly shouldn't be giving it from an obviously biased group as this ADF group is. And I share your concern. I'm really worried. This seems to be happening more and more. where people are using religious arguments to support the law, and that's not what we need. That's not what we want. We want
It's
our
Christian liberty. It's not even religious liberty, right? They're not teaching
Christian
about
liberty.
religion. Yeah.
It's liberty for the majority. It's liberty for people that are Christian, and it's not liberty for anybody else that's not Christian.
Freedom for me, not for thee.
Yes.
As and I know I keep saying this when we, over and over again, but that's what's happening. And they cry religious freedom, but it's only religious freedom for them. Screw everybody else. Anyway, Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, so everyone's agreeing on all this, but I want to change it a little bit, change it up just a little bit.
No, you're not allowed.
So
no liberty for you.
I have tried to stay away from the legal system because my little interfacing with lawyers they're not as brilliant as people think they are. Like I had a real estate attorney, and my wife and I had to rewrite everything she ever wrote before she sent it out, because the first thing she sent out got us in trouble because she was an idiot. So I'm looking at what the judge actually said, and I want to come down a little bit on the Southwest people too. The court ordered Southwest to inform Southwest flight attendants that they may not discriminate against Southwest flight attendants for religious practices and beliefs. All right, we might agree with that, or maybe do, but it says may not. That's the key words. So what Southwest went and did is they wrote, to their employees, Southwest does not discriminate against our employees for those. Like they changed may not to does not. It's like that means nothing. It changed the whole gist of the instruction that they were ordered to do. I mean, what the hell is wrong with lawyers? That's bizarre.
Because lawyers are people, they're fallible, Rob.
Fallible.
Both. They're both. They're fallible and fallible at the same time.
It's them throwing a legal tantrum. I think they're just throwing a legal tantrum. They didn't agree with the ruling, and so they're just going to change that may not to does not. We do not do this, no matter what the jury said. Nah.
It's impossible. I mean, looking at the attorneys that Trump hires, not a brain amongst them. So, what can I say?
Well, I think they still met the intent
he knows
of
all the
ruling,
best people,
though.
Rob.
I know he knows and hires all the best people.
I do want to point out something that struck me when I was reading this article, because if there's sexism, I'm going to sniff it out. And the U.S. District Judge Starr, who had talked about the lawyers in this case, has undermined his earlier ruling in a religious bias case against student flight attendant Charlene Carter. Starr has said that instead of notifying employees of their rights against religious discrimination, as he had ordered Southwest to do, the lawyers penned a memo warning workers not to violate the company policy that led to fire Carter. Carter says she was fired for criticizing her union's decision to participate in the 2017 Women's March, a nationwide protest following the inauguration of Donald Trump, because Planned Parenthood was a sponsor. Carter has said she's a Christian who opposes abortion. So we're not just talking about just Christianity. This is a woman that worked at the company, wanted to participate in this march, and is a Christian that wants people to have equal access to abortion. So, bias much, and we keep seeing this, though, where the law is supposed to be impartial, where the best evidence is presented, and then they make laws about it. Now it's like, well, your sky daddy is telling me that this is the moral reality we have to live in, so we're gonna go with the sky daddy, and it just bothers me so much. That was the thing that really struck out for me as a feminist and a humanist, and people having equal access to healthcare and things. So,
Helen, so did you read enough about it to hear the part about sending aborted fetus pictures to multiple people? Did you catch up? Did you catch that?
Yes, I did. And that's the thing, and this is the thing I think those of us who are talking out against these things is that if you're playing on people's emotions, you're not going to help them engage with things logically and separate their emotions. And I will say your emotions are valid, but it's always what you do with your feelings. And you can think that, aborted fetuses are gross, and also think that, oh, this is just, something that's trying to get into my brain and manipulate me emotionally, and also separate that people can make decisions for themselves. You can do both. It's fine. Anyway, I did a feminist rant. I did my quota. So Jimmy, please give me more opinions on this article.
Hey, female,
that makes me angry.
Women's rights are human rights. Okay, no issue there. But what I would have liked to see is a line drawn between the case of Southwest Airlines firing Miss Carter, and then the judge issuing his ruling the way that he did. Because I think what's happening is that the judge is just retaliating against Southwest Airlines for penalizing a Christian. And in doing so, I think he's using the legal system, using the Constitution to infuse his own religious ideology. And that is a major deal. And that is something that can't fly. So I would almost take the Southwest Airlines, I would want to take that in its own category and kind of analyze that independently and say, well, yeah, she should have the right, to act in accordance with her values and not be terminated with them. I think that the point that we're missing though there is that, well, maybe for Southwest Airlines, there was some policy that was violated. I didn't look into this, too deeply, but from what I gathered is that she violated some company policy and was terminated for it. Now, whether that was a, religious discrimination case, that should be examined, but a judge should not be infusing his own religious values to penalize that company for that. And so that's what I think is happening. And again, dangerous precedent.
Yeah, I read a news article on the original case, and it wasn't that she had different views. She wasn't being fired for having her views. People have their views. She was sharing them on Facebook. The problem was she was harassing people. Southwest claimed that she was harassing people about it. She wouldn't let it go, and she was, like I said, sending pictures that people didn't want to see, and all this stuff. And she did some stuff with her union. I'm not sure exactly what I was unable to find out, but she crossed the line, is what Southwest contended, and a jury didn't agree. So, I mean, take that with what it is. I'm not too familiar with it, but the jury didn't agree, and she won. And Southwest and I think another group are appealing the decision, yeah. So, Rob.
Yeah, she crossed the line. Yeah, multiple pictures, as I recall, multiple years of harassing people. It should have been a harassment case. Never mind religious freedom. It's like, sending pictures of dead bodies, whether or not they're fetuses or older humans, is like just not appropriate to people. You don't do that, even if you, for some reason, believe it's going to change minds to become around to your way of thinking regarding an issue that's come to you because of your religion. So, she crossed the line. I don't know if Southwest, was wrong for firing her for harassment, but I don't know. But the judge clearly crossed the line, as everyone here is agreeing. And we'll see what happens if this is taken up by a higher court. That's all I can say about it.
I think the frustration comes to is that also as well is that Southwest is a very big corporation, and this is where a lot of the focus is going. But we hear again and again of religious ideologies and practices. Like I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse with this, but it's infiltrating a lot of American businesses. And when you're a big corporation, like it's not like a private company, like you own your local like pest control, business, and you have a Jesus fish on your truck, and people can be like, okay, well, they're a Christian company. I don't want to, align my values there. So you have an option to not participate in it. But Southwest is a huge corporation with thousands and thousands of employees. And if they're going to force them to do religious liberty training, okay, not cool, man. And also with Carter, I have mixed feelings about it, but I don't think the judge should have ruled and had his opinion the way that he did, because I get it. You shouldn't harass your fellow coworkers, and I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Don't do that. But the other side of it is just like, well, if you're being biased, we're talking about a different thing at this point. And I think that's the problem that we're talking about, because I can talk about her ethically. I can talk about like, hey, don't do that, because if she did, it looks really, really bad. But on the flip side of it, why are you deciding to rule on this in the way that you are? And that's the thing we're criticizing, because we can talk about the nuance of the case, we can talk about our own ethics and perceptions of it, but what we're really looking at is that this is an example of religion infiltrating what is supposed to be a public sphere. So I'm just saying that it's a problem. It's a problem. So anyway,
Well
Jimmy,
put.
do you want to give your final thoughts on this?
I think we've said it all. I think that was a very good wrap up. So I think I'm going to roll with that. I really appreciate everybody's comments on this topic. Yeah.
Aaron, you got anything you want to say? Rob?
Nope.
Nope. That I think we've covered.
All right,
this.
so
we've beat the dead Southwest.
We have beat the
Texas
Southwest
judge
horse. So if you want us to see us be more dead horses, click above you and subscribe and watch the videos.